The Cold War had a dramatic change on the way Americans lived at home. The conflict with the Soviet Union was unlike any other conflict America had faced before, because of the threat of nuclear warfare. At any time, an American city could simply disappear under the sheer power of an atomic bomb. This threat changed many American habits at home and at work. One significant change to American society was the creation of fallout shelters. Fallout shelters were buildings stocked with food and supplies that would, in theory, allow Americans to survive a nuclear war by hiding inside them. Although not every American had a fallout shelter, these shelters were not uncommon either. This video shows how some families would build their own shelters in backyards or basements.
A fallout shelter you can build yourself is open for public inspection in Thomasville, Georgia. This above-surface model was designed for areas where rocks or water make underground construction impractical. It should have supplies to feed 6 persons for 2 weeks. A civil defense pamphlet, The Family Fallout Shelter, contains plans and construction details for this and other types of shelters. An easily operated air blower adds comfort. To be sure the vents and traps are working properly, there's a Geiger counter to check radioactivity. A second model in Wheaton, Maryland is designed for the basement of a house. Both were built by the government as part of a plan to build 100 family shelters in communities across the country for test and demonstration purposes. It's a program aimed at your safety.
This shows how it was not just the government worrying about a Soviet attack. Everyday citizens had become concerned enough to take safety into their own hands. The Cold War, however, had done more than just cause individual families to build shelters. Across the country, schools taught children ways to protect themselves from an atomic bomb through air raid drills. Since the USSR had become such a constant threat, school children were taught from a young age to duck and cover under their desks.
Duck and cover, just as you do in your school. We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it, just as we are ready for many other dangers that are around us all the time.
These hiding drills truly showed how real the idea of a nuclear attack was to average Americans of the time. Many people seriously expected to be bombed, to a point where not only children are taught these drills. This clip shows people what to do if the bomb drops while they are at home, at work, or even just walking down the street.
What if a warning siren sounds? What should you do? Look for cover, the nearest cover. Don't try to make it home unless home is the nearest place to go. Don't hesitate. Find cover. Everyone is in on this. Strangers will understand. Finding shelter quickly may save your life. If you can't get into a house, get behind a wall or a steep embankment on the side away from the city. Civil defense teams will go into action immediately.
The government was trying to get people to be ready at literally any time. Whether it was at school, home, a neighbor's lawn, or the cubicles of a workspace, America tried its best to make a plan to be safe at any coordinate across the country. Instilling the fear that every citizen was a sitting duck in the wake of Soviet threats was one way average American lives were altered in the Cold War. Because of the power of the atomic bomb, the threat of its use caused huge change in the domestic life of American men, women, and children across the nation.
Let me go on.